Esteemed speaker Dolly Baruah. Dolly Baruah is a motivational speaker, social worker, bhakti yoga practitioner, and founder of the Remember Me Too movement, and is working on founding an organization by 2024 that seeks to create a better everyday life for the community. So Dolly, it's now over to you. To share your slides if you have them and to take it on. Thank you.
Thank you so very much, Red, for the introduction. I would like to thank everyone for joining. Hi, Johnny, Rizwan, Pam, Darren, Lean, Matthias, Sweda, and whoever's. Thank you for joining, Samsung, SM. It's such an honor to be here. So many celebrated, honored speakers have been speaking. I'm very small and less experienced, but I feel really, really grateful for getting the opportunity to speak. Before even I start presenting, I would like to have a very short meditation, makes us calm down and feel relaxed. I hope that's okay with everyone.
Absolutely.
Now I'm sharing the slideshow too. Why don't we all close our eyes? Slowly bring our hands in a namaskaram position towards our chest. We'll take 3 deep breaths. We'll inhale and exhale out with the sound Om. Let's take a deep breath. Om. Another deep breath. Om. One last deep breath. Om. You can slowly bring your hands down. Take a moment to feel your presence where you are and your surroundings. You can slowly open your eyes. Thank you very much for joining me for the meditation. My topic of presentation is on mindfulness, one of a very high topic because we all are going through so much difficulties in life and people are realizing we need to be mindful about our lives and how we deal today everyday work. So I chose to speak on this topic, mindfulness. During my presentation, I will be referring to a wisdom literature, a literature that changed my life, and the reason why I'm here and speaking. It's ancient wisdom text called the Bhagavad Gita. If you're not aware, you can always look online as Bhagavad Gita as it is, and I'm sure you love it. So just a brief idea about what is Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita, is a wisdom literature, and Krishna, who is the speaker, is speaking to his friend Arjuna when he was going through some difficulties, whether he should fight in the battle or not. And he was giving all these reasons why he should do his duty. Bhagavad Gita also talks about the different yoga systems. It does not give you a class on the different asanas or yoga postures, but it gives the principles of the yoga. Through Bhagavad Gita, we can bring our consciousness to a high level, and we can bring it through yoga. And one of the essential part of yoga is meditation. And meditation is something that is to do with your mind. So that's why today's topic is on mindfulness. Facing the enemy, the unbridled mind. Who considers our own mind to be a friend or an enemy? Some would say, my mind, it's my mind, and of course it's my friend. But in most cases, we can see our mind to be an enemy as well, and we'll get to know throughout this presentation. We call it now in our cell phones, we can easily send, instead of telling I'm really angry or anxious, just send the emo to them and they will know this, my friend is upset or happy. So here's some of the emotions that we go through in our day-to-day life is angry, anxious, ashamed, concerned, confused, annoyed, bored, calm, and the list goes on. And these are the feelings that comes in our day-to-day life. It is not difficult. It is not a bad thing to have feelings, but a problem arises when we relate ourselves with the feelings. So there's a discussion outline that will be, let me yes, so there are 4 parts that we are going to cover. First is a question to you. Your mind is a friend or enemy. Second is self-awareness, workings of the mind, how the mind works. And third is being real, the mind as an enemy. And fourth is self-regulation, get a grip of the mind. So section 1, a question to you is, friend or an enemy? Is your mind your friend or an enemy? This is a very famous verse, again, from the wisdom literature Bhagavad Gita. In the upper part, you can see it's written in English, but it's actually Sanskrit. And there's a Udhare Atmana Atmanam Avasyadayet Atmaiva Hi Atmano Bandhur Atmaiva Ripur Atmano. So here in the lines, you can see the word Atma have been used many times. Atmana, Atmana, Atmanam, Atmaiva, Atmano. So it's a repetition. That means it's important. Atma means who you are. And in most of the time, we relate ourselves with the mind. So the translation is saying that one must deliver himself with the help of his mind and not degrade himself. The mind is the friend of the conditioned soul and his enemy as well. So we should not use our mind to degrade ourselves, but the mind should be one too to lift us into a higher consciousness. Another very famous verse from chapter 6 of Bhagavad Gita saying, for him who has conquered the mind is the best of friends. But for one who has failed to do so, his mind will remain the greatest enemy. Very nice animation or editing of a person sitting with a steering. That's the mind like a steering. A controlled mind is a prerequisite to peace. We all want peace in our life. A country wants peace for its citizens. In our house, want peace for our family or for myself. So we all are seeking for peace. For one who has conquered the mind, the super soul is already reached. For he has already attained tranquility. To such a man, happiness and distress, heat and cold, honor and dishonor are all the same. So a person who is self-realized or have a very controlled mind, to such a man, happiness, distress, heat, cold, honor, and dishonor are all the same. It's not that differences does not exist. Differences do exist. But when one's mind is illuminated with spiritual knowledge, they see this concept in a different way. I always take this example. For an example, we all want happiness. We all want peace in our life. And when we say happiness, we are looking for happiness, we look somewhere out there. Instead of going inside, we try to find happiness somewhere out there in the world. And in that process of trying to find that happiness, we distinguish, oh, this is something I like, this is something I don't like, so I reject. So in that process, we tend to abandon our true self. And in that process, many things occurs, and one important thing that we tend to show is our selfishness. Another very good verse from chapter 6 of Bhagavad Gita. It talks about Gyan Yoga. A person is said to be established in self-realization and is called a yogi or mystic when he is fully satisfied by virtue of acquired knowledge and realization. Such a person is situated in transcendence and is self-controlled. He sees everything, whether it is pebbles, stones, or gold, as the same. Quite high, but can we achieve it? Sure we can. How? We'll be talking later more about it. But there's a very good example of a king. His name was Ambarish. King Ambarish was very, very rich. He had a lot of wealth. That his rivalry was not with just other kings, in this planet, but with the heavenly ones. But for him, his wealth had no meaning. Well, he did use his wealth for the welfare of his citizens. That's what good kings do. But for him, he had a different higher purpose and an important meaning to his life that he gave more importance to it than the wealth. But he did use the wealth for the welfare of his citizens, but he was more interested in getting to know himself and that higher goal, in achieving that higher goal. This is a very, very good picture that Bhagavad Gita can show us. A person is considered still further advanced when he regards honest, well-wishers, affectionate benefactors, the neutral mediators, the envious friends and enemies, the pious and the sinful, all with an equal mind. So, Bhagavad Gita teaches us the concept of who we truly are. In the later part, we'll be explaining more of who we truly are, but there is this body, and within this body, there is this eternal soul, and also the supreme soul, which we call the Paramatma. And a person, a self-realized person, through this yoga process, they achieve the goal of connecting the soul with the Supreme. Many of us like to do yoga. Yoga is very famous all over the world. And the real meaning of yoga, what it is, not to be flexible, or yes, there is Ashtanga yoga that you do, But the meaning of yoga is to unite with the divine. And you can achieve through meditation. And a person who is self-realized understands that. And he sees that the true identity of all living beings as the same, because in every living entity, be a bird, a snake, a big elephant, a fish, a tree, there is the soul and the super soul. Section 2, self-awareness, workings of the mind. Let's see how our mind works. It says the storehouse of desire, thoughts, and impressions. Yes, for sure it is. Storehouse of desire, thoughts, and impressions. I was trying to actually declutter my pantry, and then I'm understanding that, okay, today I'm talking about this, and I'm really doing it. I'm decluttering, trying to arrange the pantry, which is just like a storehouse. So, I mean, time to time, we do have to declutter our minds that are full of desire, thoughts, and impressions. A very good example, it talks about the mind. So all the time when we relate to ourselves, we talk about the body. But many times we don't know that there is also a non-physical body, the subtle body, which is called, and it consists of 3 elements: mind, intelligence, and false ego. I just love this painting because when I came across this teaching, I saw this painting, and that actually gave me the whole idea of, the yoga. So I'll clearly explain a bit. So these are the horses you can see, 5 horses. So these 5 horses are representing our 5 senses. And then there is this rein, which you can say is the mind. And then the charioteer is the intelligence. And the passenger is the soul. If you look at it, the passenger is like, okay, we don't know where we are going. And the charioteer is having a hard time to, control the rein, so that the horses will calm down. Looks like the horses are wanting to go in all different directions. Similarly, when we don't have the strong grip of the rein of the mind, stable of mind in control, is not controlled, then it is really, really hard for us to control the senses. Similarly, if you don't know how to use the rein, then it will be very hard for the charioteer to control the horses. What are the functions of the mind? There are 2 mentioned. First is that it carries conceptions of life as air carries aromas. A good example is, suppose you're passing through a botanical garden. The wind just carries the aroma of the flowers. It's just lovely. On the other hand, you can say a dumpster, and you passes through a dumpster and you get all these bad smells. Like me, when I go to catch the metro, I have to pass through a road that really doesn't smell good. I hate it, but that's the only way I have to go through. So I do have to experience that. And the other is thinking, feeling, and willing. So these are the functions of the mind. That's what the mind do. So thinking, you do have conception of life that makes you think. A good example is like, I don't know what you like, but you all like, but something I like it very much is the cheesecake. So you think about the cheesecake and your feelings comes, delicious, creamy cheesecake. I feel like eating. And then you contemplate it, and then your willingness will come. So after contemplation, you decide whether you want to eat the cheesecake or you don't want. Most of the time, if you're craving, of course, you'll go and eat the cheesecake, even though the doctor say, oh, you cannot take it. Like my mother, she has diabetes and she's not supposed to eat sweets, but that's what her mind says. Don't eat the sweet because the doctor said don't, your sugar level will go high. But then she contemplates and she goes with eating the sweet. And other one is the nature of the mind. A good description is having determination, you have the desire, and rejecting or avoiding. So in Sanskrit term, these are very important terms. Sankalpa and vikalpa, something you reject. Sankalpa is something you desire and you put your determination. And the other one is that absorb. The nature of the mind is that it absorbs in the past or in the future, but not so much in the present. A nice cartoon. It's really funny. It says, if only I had her figure. And the slim lady is telling, if only I had her diamonds. He say, if only I had his money. And the guy say, if only I had his wife. This is a really funny video. I would like to play, but just give an idea. So this is a very attractive girl. She tries to call some of the pedestrians, and a van comes and something change happens. So let's watch this video. Let me know if you can hear.
Dolly, I think the sound is missing.
Oh, okay. Now I need to figure this out then.
Maybe when you're sharing the screen, you need to click on share sound.
Oh, okay.
Sharing the sound. Let me know if you need any help.
Do you think you'll be able to help me? I don't think I can. Okay, I'm going through that. I see audio speaker.
Yeah, so maybe if you unshare your screen and share it again, and when you share it, click on audio, share sound. I think that'll enable the sound to be shared.
Okay, so I should just stop sharing, right? Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thanks, Dolly.
Let me know if you can hear now.
Yes, it's working.
Okay, I'll play from the beginning.
Ei, oi! Lembra de mim? Caramba! Pô, vem cá! Pô, vem cá! Atravessa! Vem cá, eu quero falar com você! Oi! Vem aqui! Vem aqui! Venha! Oi! Tudo bem? Tá lembrado de mim? Você mesmo! Você lembra de mim? Vem aqui! Pô, que sorte ter te encontrado, caramba! Oi!
Meu Deus do céu!
Vem aqui!
Isso! Para com isso!
Vem
Tá
aqui!
feio demais, pô!
Lembra de mim?
Nossa, que isso!
Você não lembra de mim, poxa? Ei! Tá lembrado de mim? Vem aqui! Vai tá lembrado de mim, não? Vem aqui! Oi! Lembra de mim? Vem aqui! Vem aqui!
So here it is. It's a really funny video. I laughed a lot because they have a whole season, making all these jokes and all. So it was really fun. I used to watch it. Well, this is the attraction repulsion, the non-reality part. So it is said that it's a really famous quote that one's man's food can be another man's poison. So it's our mind, something we like, and for some other person, they dislike. So it's how our mind is working. Attraction and repulsion is something, we see, we right away our mind just repulses because we don't want it. And we just see something and we like it, we right away want that. So that's how our mind works. Let's move to the next one. This is a really nice saying. Forget yesterday. It has already forgotten you. Don't sweat tomorrow you haven't even met. Instead, open your eyes and your heart to a truly precious gift today. Being present is our doorway to that which has no beginning and end. Really nicely said. Let's move to the next one. Section 3 that is leading us to this. Being real, mind as an enemy. So please kindly take 2 minutes, 2 to 3 minutes, 1 or 2 points. Please take your pen or paper if you have, or take out your phone. This is a personal exercise that I'm requesting you all to take part. One part is what I wish was different in my life. And next is what do I worry about? So maybe we'll take 3 to 4 minutes and get back. All right. I'm sure the list can be very, very long because when I did this exercise, my list was long and I needed more time. Thank you very much for joining for this personal exercise. You can keep it to yourself. Most of the time we do spend what I wish I was different. It was different in my life. And what do I worry about, which is my future. But can you share? Can you see?
We didn't see anything change.
Okay. Yeah. I'm not sure why it's. Let me stop sharing and get back. Some problem.
Let me know if you need any help, Dolly.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Great. I hope you can see now. So we miss the present moment. So this is a nice cartoon they made. It's a long line. You can see the past life reading and a long line for the future telling. But in the middle, hey, present moment, anyone? So there's not a single person. And that is for the meditation. So we are having a spiritual fair, and I have so many friends I know. They're always so very interested to know about their past life, and so much interested to know about what's going to happen in the future, but very less interested in meditation and living in the present moment. Even Arjuna, here he's saying, for the mind is restless, turbulent, obstinate, and very strong, O Krishna, and to subdue it, I think, is more difficult than controlling the wind. Here it is. So why do I do things that are in discord with my inner value system as if by force? Bhagavad Gita, chapter 3, Arjuna is questioning to Krishna. It is by conditioned force. Can you relate to this picture? A guy is maybe trying to study, and here's Facebook is telling, check me. And the guy said, no, please, I'm trying to study. How many of us, like we are just sitting, and even though our phone is not ringing and we are not getting any WhatsApp messages, but our hand keeps going to the phone to see, is there anything that came? We are so much in this life that indulge in technology and also all the distractions of social media that, our mind constantly goes towards that. The 6 enemies of the mind. First is the material desire, lust, anger, greed, illusion, pride, and envy. And here it says that the heaviest burdens that we carry are the thoughts in our head. And this is a very nice statue that they made. It really depicts our mind. And this is one, anger management. There's actually, they made even a cartoon, right? The Angry Birds cartoon. So it may not be so prominent in your life, but for sure in some people's life, anger is very much there, and they have to go through the therapy. This is a very nice picture, and I think when you go to India or to Paris, you try to hold the Taj Mahal like as if you're really picking up. So similarly here, this is the crane with a string. It's looking at as if the crane is pulling, holding the moon, but in reality it is not. It's an illusion. So it's all about our perceivedness, right? How we perceive things. My spiritual master always give a very good example, and I love to share that too. It's about a Chinese farmer. I'm sure you all like stories, so I hope you don't mind me sharing the story of the Chinese farmer. So the Chinese farmer had a son, and one time the son got a horse, and all the farmers came to the Chinese farmer and said, great, how lucky you are. You have a horse. You don't have to plow the field like us with hands. Now you have the help of a horse. The Chinese farmer, he said, he's a like-minded person like us. Ill fortune, good fortune, who can say? So the very next day, the horse ran away. So all the farmers came to the Chinese farmer and said, oh, so sad that the horse ran away. Now you have to do again the farming like us by hand. The Chinese farmer again said, ill fortune, good fortune, who can say? The very next day, the horse came back, not just him, but he also bought 10 other wild horses. All the farmers came to the Chinese farmer and say, wow, great, so lucky you are. Now you not only have 1, but 10 more horses to help you. The Chinese farmer said, ill fortune, good fortune, who can say? So one day, the Chinese farmer's son was training one of the horses. So what happened is that he fell down and he broke his leg. All the farmers again came and told the Chinese farmer, "Oh, so sad. Your son has broken his feet. He cannot help you." The Chinese farmer said, "What to do? Ill fortune, good fortune, who can say?" So after some time, there was a war happening, and the Chinese government made a law that all the able men have to go to the war. So when the Chinese government came to recruit the boys from the village, all the boys were hired except the Chinese farmer's son because he broken his leg. So ill fortune, good fortune, who can say? It's a nice example of our perseverance. What we perceive, what we see may not be the reality. Section 4, self-regulation. Get a grip of the mind. There are 3 steps in the yoga practice that the Patanjali Yoga Sutra says, that in order to get better, there's something you do every day. Second, something you do every day for a sustained period of time. And third, you have faith in that practice and it will take you where your goal is, where you want to go. So this is one of the Buddhism teaching. It said, it is a man's own mind, not his enemy or foe, that lures him to evil ways, or Buddha says. It's a good citation, a good sayings by this boy named Prahlad, and he instructs his dad. So, my dear father, please give up your demonic mentality. Do not discriminate in your heart between enemies and friends. Make your mind equipoised towards everyone, except for the uncontrolled and misguided mind. There is no enemy within this world. Well, it's very high education, but to reach that goal, you do need quite an effort. When one sees everyone on the platform of equality, one then comes to the position of connecting with the Supreme perfectly. His dad was really, really bad. So the son spoke these words to him. Most important thing is having the grip, understanding of the foundation. And what is the foundation? Distinguish between me and mine. I and mine, sorry. So I'm not this hair, I'm not this skin, I'm the soul that lives within. This is another, Bhagavad Gita says the same, and this is another teaching saying the same, that you should distinguish between I and me. But most of the time we relate ourselves with what is mine, my hand, my skin, my body, my eyes. But where is the I? Here Bhagavad Gita says, as the spirit soul continuously passes in this body from boyhood to youth to old age, the soul similarly passes into another body at the time of death. A self-realized yogi is not bewildered by such a change. If you're 21, you have a different body. When you're 10-year-old, you have a different body because the cells are changing in your body every moment. So you have already attained like what? 4 different bodies in their lifespan. But there is something that is unchangeable, and that is the soul, which is your true identity. The Gita and the Yoga Sutras prescribe, let me read the translation here. Sri Bhagavan Uvacha, Sri Krishna said, O mighty armed son of Kunti, it is undoubtedly very difficult to curb the restless mind, but it is possible by suitable practice and by detachment. So one of the easiest way to control the mind, as suggested by Saint Chaitanya, is chanting the Hare Krishna mantra, the great mantra. If you don't know what is mantra, man means mind and tra is to deliver your mind. And one can attain it by chanting this mantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. false ego is one of the toughest things to tackle. And to chant with that humility is quite difficult. It can be quite easy to do headstand and do certain kind of yoga pose. But with the mood of humility, sitting in the meditation and chanting is quite challenging, and that needs some practice. So here's a drawing exercise that I welcome you all to take part. Draw a picture of your mind, use your notebook or phone and get creative. And you can also unmute yourself and or a video, and you can show the drawing. I don't know how to draw my mind, something like this, like the spaghetti all over, but you can take part in this exercise. So overall, how do we come into understanding our true self and be mindfulness? It is like, first is practice, of course, meditation and living in the moment. And third is understanding the foundation of the difference between I and mind. And how do we get that? Is again through meditation. And what we use in our meditation is our mind, and how we achieve that higher goal with our mind by meditation and controlling our senses and controlling our mind. So we should be the one be able to control the senses and not let the senses control us. Thank you very much for letting me speak. I'm ready to take some questions.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Dolly. I just want to let you know that this was a very calming talk. Focusing on your talk and paying attention to you throughout your presentation felt like meditation. Thank you so much. I welcome the audience to ask questions if they have any.
I guess here somebody shared the photo
Yeah.
of the mind. Wish, worry. Right. Thank you so much for sharing.
Wonderful. So if you have any questions, I'm welcoming questions from the audience. I had a quick question to Dolly, if that's okay.
Go ahead.
So I was wondering what it would mean to have a mind that is empty, or to have a mind where the chitta vrittis or the activities are not present. It usually happens with a lot of effort, maybe during meditation for some, but if it were a constant state, what would that imply for the soul, or for the soul in the chariot?
Thank you so much. It's a very nice question. I hope I can answer it. It's really hard to attain that stage of empty mind. We are always active. One can say like a yogi, he's inactive, or he's renounced from everything. But a person cannot be renounced. He always have to be active, either by sleeping or eating, have to do something. So similarly with our mind, that emptiness cannot be there. Most of the time in meditation, you sit down and you say, you know what, I don't want to think a single thing. I just want to be blank. But right away, you close your eyes, in a second, you're gonna think about 1,000 different things. So that is hard to attain. But now how can I be perfect? Engaging your mind in achieving that higher goal. So we don't have to empty our mind, but constantly engage our mind in trying to be a self-realized person.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Dolly. Let me take this opportunity to thank you again. Thank you so very much for joining us. It was very kind and gracious of you, and it was an absolute pleasure for us. Thank you so much.
It was my honor. Thank you very much.
Thank you.